Hello and welcome to Cityscope. I'm your host Scott Kurland, and something is happening on June 22nd for the first time ever. Leominster is hosting a French Canadian Festival right here in Leominster, and the person who is arranging that is my guest today, Mr. Joseph Bolton. Joe, thank you for coming.
Bonjour à tous. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Scott. I'm so happy to be here today.
I appreciate you coming all the way down here. Can you tell us how this got started? Did it start with an idea?
Well, yes. Well, as we know, Leominster is the city that loves to celebrate, and we love our festivals. I mean, you look at the calendar, we have one at least every month, if not twice a month. So we have a lot. And we have an Italian Fest, we have the Apple Fest, we have lots of festivals. But, given that Leominster has such a strong history of Quebec and Acadian culture, and so many people in Leominster have Acadian and Quebec ancestry, we never had a festival for them.
Really?
No, we never have at the time. And so back in August, I went to the mayor, and we were just talking, and I was actually talking about a book I was writing. I was starting about French Canadian folktales. Anyway, I mentioned him. I said, "Why don't we do a festival?" And the mayor said, "Pick a date." And so we did. We picked June 22nd, which seemed very far in the future at the time, but now it's coming up very quick very soon. But it's also very close to the national holiday of Quebec, which is June 26th, so it's a Saturday. And the mayor said, "Go ahead and do it." So I've never done a festival before, but I went about creating a Facebook page, reaching out to other people to help out. And throughout this whole process, the mayor and his whole staff in the city hall been very supportive and helpful getting this started. They really want this festival for the city. And so I'm very excited to...
That's fantastic. And you mentioned the Quebec Festival that's held in June, which I've been to.
Right.
The one in Quebec. So is it mirroring that? Is it mirroring the whole festival style of, celebration?
Well, it's not just Quebec, it's also Acadian, because we do have very large Acadian in there. And if you notice on the flag, and this is our logo, and if you notice on there, we do have the Quebec and Acadian flags. So I want to make sure our Acadian friends in Leominster understand they're included as well.
Yes.
But this festival it's not a food festival, although there's going to be food there. It is primarily a cultural celebration of French Canadian culture. And I'm really pleased to announce that we have two outstanding French Canadian music groups to perform throughout the entire time. It's going to be from 3 to 7. First, the headline is going to be Joseph Bolton. She is a guitarist, folk guitarist. She was born in Quebec, lives in Maine, and she's coming all the way down here for this festival.
That's amazing.
And we also have another group, a little toe-tapping Cajun celebration group called Magnolia. They're also a French culture, and they're also going to be there. So that's headlining in that. And we also have 14 vendors. We have the government of Quebec is actually coming down.
The governor of Quebec is coming.
Not the governor, but the government of Quebec.
The government
of Quebec is setting up a booth there at the festival, and we're planning on having them right up front. So, and they'll be giving out Quebec flags. I think they're even going to have stickers that says, whether I speak French or not. So this is an opportunity to do that.
That's so great.
Yeah. So and very also, this is also never done this at a festival before, I don't think. But there's a very hot game in Quebec with the kids. It's called kinball. So imagine...
Please explain that.
Yeah, so imagine a volleyball, like a ball, like 4 feet in diameter. And it's
that is a big volleyball.
Yes, it is. It's not a volleyball. It's more like a real inflatable ball. It's not as heavy as a volleyball, but... Imagine volleyball without a net.
Yep.
You play in teams of 4, and there's 3 teams on the field at the time, and you've got to keep this ball in the air as a team. And it's a hot new game in Quebec. Anyway, the company that makes the ball, called Omnikin, is actually coming all the way down from Montreal for the festival. And I've got some kids to help demonstrate that. And that's going to be open to anybody who wants to participate.
Anyone.
Anyway, but if you are going to participate, make sure you dress appropriately in some kind of like shorts, t-shirt, kind of athletic clothes.
Because it's a sport.
It's a sport, yes, and it'll be out there in the field. Oh, so I should talk about this, where we're going to have it. We're going to have it on the new park right next to St. Cecilia's off Mechanic Street. And it's fairly new to Leominster, and it's 2 different levels. So this part of this festival is going to be so large that we're actually using the upper and lower level.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So how long did it take to plan this out? Like from the second the mayor said, here's the date, go ahead. What went into planning this? What went into booking these vendors? You had to
Yes.
contact 2 different musical acts. You had to contact 14 different vendors. What went into all of that?
Well, it was a lot more work than I thought. I've never run a festival before. And the first thing I did was went to the Leominster Cultural Council, and they've been very supportive as well, and they were an early believer. And they gave me a grant, kind of a seed money grant, that we used to kind of get the process started. Once I had that grant, that kind of gave me the sense of I had community support behind this effort. I reached out to find our musical acts first, and I did that through Facebook.
Yeah.
I made contact with a gentleman who was running the Poutine Fest in Manchester, New Hampshire, and he's been a good mentor for me about running a festival. And he helped me make contact with Joseph Bolton, and that is a real big plus for our that was how I started there.
Wow.
And then from there, once you post it on Facebook, created the logo, created the Facebook page, I offered it up to any vendors, food vendors that would like to participate, and they've been coming in. And we've got a very varied group of vendors, and so it's going to be very exciting. But planning it was step by step. I worked in partnership with the mayor's office. Kelly Woodland was very helpful, and other members of the Leominster city government, the police department. I met with them to provide security. So the city is really behind this effort. So they've been helping me. They know that I'm just starting out, so they're not just kind of throwing me out there to kind of figure it out, but they've really been helping. So it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. I've made a lot of new friends, and I'm really pleased to share the French Canadian culture with everybody in Leominster.
Now, this isn't about food, but you are going to have some food trucks there. Are you going to have traditional French Canadian cuisine? Is there going to be poutine?
Well, yeah, there's 2 different kinds of poutine.
Yeah.
Now, when I was growing up, my mother's family was from Quebec, so I grew up in a Quebecois culture, and we have poutine as French fries with cheese curls
That's
and gravy.
what I grew up with too.
But there's also poutine râpé, which is very made famous over at St. Cecilia's Church, right next to where we're having the festival also. And unfortunately, I was not able to get a vendor to provide that. I think partly it's a lot of work to provide that. So maybe next year we'll do that. But we will have the poutine with the cheese curds and the French fries.
It's my favorite.
And I had another food vendor who really wanted to come on. Normally he does Korean food. But he really wanted, I said, I don't know if it's a fit. But he was really willing to work with me. And so what he's going to do is he's going to serve something known as beaver tails in Quebec. And what it is, it's fried dough in an oval shape filled with just all kind of toppings. It's something very similar.
Yeah.
But in Quebec, it's actually a thing called beaver tails. So I asked him, can you do that for us? And he's like, yes, I'll do that. So he's coming out there for that as well. And so we are going to have some flavoring of Quebec, but again, there's going to be a lot more going on besides just food.
Now, what's your goal? What is your plan? Do you have a 10-year plan for this festival? Is your plan to have it every year? Or is this the first year and we're going to see how it goes?
Well, when I first came up with it, not knowing how much work was going to go into it, I thought, these things just happen by magic. Well, of course they don't. It takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But everybody I've talked to about this has been just so excited about the idea that no one says to me, if we do this next year. Everyone, especially in the city government especially, is like, when we do this again next year. That's the way the mayor's thinking.
That's fantastic.
This is going to go on forever, and I think it'll be easier the next time, and I think it'll grow.
And you're responsible for it. Like, you're the guy who created it.
I came up with the idea,
Yeah.
but I had a lot of help. So
let's talk about your team. Who has been helping you with this?
well, as a young woman named Jordan Vachon, she early jumped on to help me. There's another woman named Denise is also helping out there, and Cora are also helping me out with the festival as well. So I've got a very kind of a small team this year, and they'll all be wearing this shirt.
So this is how they can recognize
Yes.
the people working for the festival are going to be wearing these shirts.
That's correct. And on the back it'll say, "Bonjour, may I help you?"
Nice. That's wonderful.
So it started off slow, but like I said, it's building, and I think a lot of people, especially the vendors, they want to see, can you do it once? Once we do it once, I think we're going to grow even larger. But we still have 14 vendors that are actually going to be there.
So who came up with the design? We're all famous with the wonderful Dawn Featherstone Flamingo, but who?
I had it designed, and oh gosh, I'd have to pull up her name.
Okay.
But maybe I'll mention it for the mayors when we come back
Sure.
out there. But one thing we wanted to do when we designed this logo, we really wanted it to reflect Leominster and who we are. So of course Featherstone has to be on it because
Yep.
Featherstone is one of the mayor's favorites. So we had to incorporate him in there. And if you looked at the logo, Featherstone is wearing a red toque, very traditional Canadian hat. And there's also a Quebec flag, and there's an Acadian flag from New Brunswick, or a flag representing the French Canadian culture from New Brunswick.
Wow.
So reflecting both of them together. So those are the elements we incorporated in there in the design. And we do have a vendor that's going to be selling coffee mugs with the logo on if you want. I do have a few extra of these shirts. Maybe if you find me, and maybe if you ask, I have an extra one. Maybe I will give you one. Just come find me.
Come find Joe.
Yes, and maybe next year we'll sell some more T-shirts and other logo items. But so that's how we came up with the design. So we want to make sure it reflects Leominster, but also our Acadian and Quebec heritage.
Well, it's an impressive feat in the amount of time that you have arranged for all of these vendors, all of these performing acts, an entire new sport. Joe, you should be very proud of yourself. You've done an amazing job.
Well, I'm proud of my team.
You and your team have done an amazing job, all of you,
yes.
working together.
Yes.
That's a lot of work. And is there anything else that you want to add?
Yes, I would suggest that if you come out to the festival, bring a lawn chair because we have those music acts. We have the field right out there in the top off Mechanic Street, but there's no place to sit. So bring your lawn chair because plan on staying a while because you're going to love the music performers. And it's going to be on June 22nd from 3 to 7 p.m. It's right next to St. Cecilia's Church, right off Mechanic Street.
Where should
it's a
people
beautiful
park?
They're going to have to park on the street. French Hill, park anywhere you want. You can walk. There is some parking on the other side of St. Cecilia's as well that you could park at. So, be prepared. Arrive early. There's a lot to do. I've got artists there. The logos, I've got French Canadian genealogical societies are there ready to help you research your family tree. And I also have the Métis, a French Canadian native Indian group from Maine is coming down.
Oh, wow.
A lot of French Canadians from New Brunswick, Acadian, and Quebec have, it's estimated that at least half of all French Canadians have at least one native ancestor. So you may have heard legends about that in your family. Well, talking to the Métis of Maine, they can help you research those ancestors as well.
That is incredible. Now, how can people get in contact with you?
So The easiest way is to go to Facebook, and if you just search Leominster French Canadian Festival on Facebook, you should find it. And you'll know you have the right one because you'll see this nice logo right here. And you can send me a message or put a post on there. I'd be happy to reach out to you. Or you can email me at boltonje364@gmail.com. And we are still looking for some sponsors. We do have a few corporate sponsors, and I'd like to mention Steve Boucher of BC Corporate Boucher Construction was a significant donor. In fact, he's sponsoring, him and his company are sponsoring both music acts for this festival.
Oh, that's great.
And so we're still open to other sponsors, corporate sponsors. We'll make sure that they're noted and recognized at the festival. And, you know, if you are a vendor out there, perhaps you have something that's French Canadian related and you think, hey, maybe can I come out for this? Contact me. Maybe we can find a place for you. Right now it's pretty full, but you know what? We want to invite everybody. We want to include everybody. So reach out to me if you think you have something that you would like to share at the festival with your own vendors. No charge for vendors this year. So
that's great. Well, I appreciate you being here to talk about the festival. And remember, it is on June 22nd at, the name of the park is?
Oh, it's the new park off Mechanic Street.
New park off of Mechanic Street, right near St. Cecilia's. And Joe will be back in a few months to talk about something that we will tease right now. But if you want to be like Joe and you want to come onto Cityscope because you want to promote a project or just promote Leominster itself, you can contact me, scott@leominster.tv. Joe, once again, thank you for being here. And until next time, we will see you later.
Thank you, Scott. I look forward to coming back.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.